So as I mentioned, given that our objective is to minimize the peak census, namely at 11:59, over the days of the week. The decisions, as I mentioned, is to assign surgeons to days of the week. Of course, this optimization problem has constraints. The first constraint is that the number of allowed changes to the surgeons' schedules is limited. This is a parameter defined by the users of the system. At Hartford Hospital, there are about 250 surgeons. Clearly, you don't want to reschedule 250 surgeons. Typically, this number is about maybe 5. Out of 250, only 5 are going to be selected, or 8 or 10. But this is a parameter that is defined by the person that optimizes this. Second constraint is that the number of surgeries for each surgeon is at most the number of surgeries in the previous year data. So that, in other words, we don't add more to what each surgeon is doing, or we can also say that it's not also more than what he has done. It could be even within limits, let's say 3% of what has happened the previous year. So in other words, we don't materially affect the number of patients, the number of surgeries the doctor has done. The next constraint is we allow the flexibility of fixing the schedule of selecting surgeons. For example, a particular surgeon might not be able to move. So we say such a surgeon is not allowed to change. So it's not part of the optimization. In this particular hospital, we don't allow blocks to be scheduled during the weekend. This is not true for all hospitals. In fact, many hospitals, including Hartford, are thinking about certain procedures to be done over weekends. In this particular incarnation that we have tried in the Hartford Hospital, we did not allow weekends because the leadership of the hospital has told us. Another constraint is that we cannot have more than 7 hours of operations in each operating room each day. So historically, of course, this could be 7, 8, or 9, but the number of hours that we allow is user-defined for each operating room. We can add also additional constraints depending on the particular hospital. It's relatively flexible, and then we can optimize. The optimization process, once we have all the data and so forth, is in seconds. So we can generate optimal solutions very fast. And not only we can generate one solution, we can often generate multiple ones. And the reason we might want to generate multiple solutions is because it allows the flexibility for the decision makers to have multiple solutions that allow, let's say, the optimal solution involves a particular doctor. And this doctor, after discussion, we realize it's not possible to move. There is other solutions involving other doctors who might be able to move, that the overall solution, the overall objective is the same, namely the overall benefit might be slightly less but almost identical, and this allows the possibility of implementing the solution, whereas if it's completely inflexible, we might not be able to do it.